traveler.
Hard to tell if you're a very good offensive team the way Roy Halladay was throwing yesterday. He would have shut down the best offense in baseball, I think, the way he was throwing. But tonight it's Casey Janssen. He makes his third start of the season. He's coming off his first win in more than 2 years, when he beat Boston last Friday, allowing 3 runs and spacing out 11 hits in 7 innings. Here's the scouting report tonight for Casey Janssen. When you watch him pitch, he's really a 4-pitch arsenal type of pitcher. He's got the fastball, the quick slider, he's got a big, slow curveball and the changeup, and I think he mixes his pitches really well. He keeps the ball down, moves it around the strike zone a little bit, and he's tough when he does stay down. Something that we saw him do against Boston. And Cito was talking before the game a little bit about Janssen, saying, you know, he was 2 different types of pitchers in that game. At the beginning, he tried to find his breaking ball, his off-speed pitch, but once he did, and he kept the ball down, he became a better pitcher.
Chatted with Cito Gaston before tonight's game, and loves having Casey Janssen back. Obviously, this is a team that has been without some big components in its rotation. So Janssen gets the ball for the 3rd time this season after missing all of last year. And significant for Casey Janssen tonight, he's got a lot of people watching, not only here in Toronto, but back home. This was his hometown team growing up, the team that he idolized.
You're right. You got to figure that the Angels would like to have him right now because he has pitched so effectively versus the Angels in his career. He's 2-0 with an ERA under 1 in 5 outings against the Angels.
Here's the man who last night led off the ball game and then tried to steal and was gunned down by Brad Barajas. Yeah, Sean Figgins.
It looked like for the longest time that was going to be the only hit the Angels would get against Halladay last night. It was a broken bat bleeder to left field right over Scott Rowland, who's playing in, respecting the bunt and the speed of Sean Figgins. Looped it right over his head, but a pitch later, Rod Barajas threw him out, and Halladay was on his way.
There's the doc. Torrey Hunter, who's not in the lineup tonight, had the best words of all in the locker room afterward. Said that he was a doctor. He performed surgery on all of us. A K-ectomy.
He had them all talking to themselves going back to the dugout.
2 balls and 2 strikes now to Sean Figgins. Roy Halladay, a career high 133. The pitch count last night. First pitcher to 9 wins as well. And there's a base hit from Figgins. And always a threat to run. This team, the Angels, don't be surprised that they might be off and running again.
It's been a good defense for the Blue Jays this year. They're second in the American League in fielding percentage. Adam Lynn with a start in left field. 11th time we have seen him out there. Scudero and Hill up the middle. They were special in last night's game. Overbay and Rowland on the corners. And Rob Barajas in his familiar spot behind the plate, catching Casey Janssen tonight.
Now Bobby Abreu. Only 1 home run for Bobby Abreu this season. This is a team that does not hit a lot of home runs so far.
You know, but what they do is they run the bases well. They've got good average when guys get on base. They don't hit the home run like you say. Guerrero's really the big home run threat, and Torrey Hunter is not in the lineup as the home run threat, but they run the bases well. They're smart and intelligent. They've got a lot of team speed also.
Only 1 home run from a guy who is a former home run derby champion, Bobby Abreu. Used to jacking them out.
20 of them last year, but just 1 so far this year. Probably wishes he was still in Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium, the way that ball carries.
Hard hit to right center field, and that is number 2. Just like that, Bobby Abreu gives the Angels a 2-0 lead.
Second home run this year that Casey Janssen has given up. When he's good, he's mixing pitches, he's keeping the ball down, but the first 2 batters here, first Sean Figgins with an elevated fastball, and now this one. Right over the heart of the plate. It looked like an off-speed pitch that Abreu is able to lean on And really, there's no doubt about this one. Lands in the first deck, and just like that, the Angels jump ahead 2-0.
Now Vladimir Guerrero, have to be careful with this guy too.
Cito was talking before the game. He said, hey, this is a good team, the Angels team. He doesn't want to wake them up. He wants everything to be nice and quiet until they get out of town. He says they've lost. A lot of their pitchers have been hurt as that ball's cranked to center field.
Crushed to center, and Vernon Wells watches it fly. And it's off the fence, and a double for Vladimir Guerrero.
Almost a carbon copy of the ball we just seen hit from Bobby Abreu. Right in front of that Nikon sign in right center field. Again, a ball out over the plate and up. Wells thinks he has a beat on it. He takes off, but you can see he just misses it off the wall. Good attempt there, and extra bases for Guerrero.
So a single, a home run, and now a double by Guerrero. Missing a home run by a couple feet. Now first baseman Kendry Morales. They've come out swinging here tonight. This is a team also, Pat, that it doesn't matter if they throw a right-hander or a left-hander on the hill. Never heard of a team with 5 switch hitters in their lineup.
Yeah, the 4 infielders from first to third. Throwing Gary Matthews, another one. Tough to pitch to a team that's got a lot of switch hitters like that. That breaking ball is always coming right into you.
Morales, one of those switch hitters. Aaron Hill looks over to the third, makes the play to first. There's out number 1 as Guerrero makes his way to third base.
Well, another thing that the Angels do, because they don't hit a lot of home runs, is they play good situational hitting. We saw it in last night's game when they were able to score 4 against Halladay. A wild pitch here, punching the ball to the right side, and a couple of sacrifice flies were able to get him to within 2. There's a good example right there of Morales giving himself up for Guerrero over to third base, so his teammate Juan Rivera has a chance to drive him in with a long fly ball.
Rivera, 5 home runs on the year, 19 RBIs. 2-0 Los Angeles early on here.
Rivera has been the guy who has probably swung the hottest bat for the Angels. Over his last 16, he's got 4 home runs. Was not in the lineup in last night's ball game.
Hit hard to right field, playable for Rios. Makes the catch, but another run will score. The sacrifice fly RBI from Juan Rivera. 3-0 Angels.
And Rivera will probably go right over to Kendry Morales and say thank you very much for that easy RBI. Number 20 on the year as he heads into the dugout. That is a team run right there. Double by Guerrero, get him over, and a long fly ball. No chance for Rios, who went a long way to catch that ball in the corner, although he made an attempt.
Now second baseman tonight, Meister Asturias. Talked earlier about Howie Kendrick not in the lineup tonight. Fouled away, and that might be a result of maybe a little brain cramp last night.
He was on first base when there was a line drive hit out into left field, and he just took off. Unfortunately for him, there was only 1 out. And if you know Mike Scioscia and the way he plays this game the right way, you know that had to eat at him. That was not a good idea.
Chopper over for Hill. There's out number 3, but 3 runs across for the Angels. 2 thanks to Bobby Abreu's second home run of the season. Right there. Tough start for Casey Janssen and the Jays. The leadoff position for the Blue Jays this year, leads in a lot of categories. A guy with a terrific on-base percentage, over 400. Then Aaron Hill, Alex Rios riding a 7-game hit streak, starting to turn it on. Some adjustments in his swing. Vernon Wells, Adam Lind, Scott Rowland, Lyle Overbay at first. Kevin Millar, the DH again tonight. And behind the plate, Rod Barajas, bats ninth.
We saw a hot pitcher last night in Roy Halladay. Well, here's another one for the Angels. Weaver has given up just 1 run in 4 of his last 5 starts, including his last outing. He had just 4 hits while striking out 8 batters as the Angels beat the White Sox 3-1. He has had good success versus the Jays in his young career, going 4-1 with an ERA, just about 3.5 in 5 starts. The scouting report on Big Jared Weaver, he really runs and sinks his fastball, so it's going to be tough to dig in against him here tonight. He's got one of those slurvy sliders, not that sharp breaking type of pitch we've seen. He's got a tight curveball, and one of the things that I like about him, he's got very good command. Just 18 base on balls this year, which is in the top 10 in the AL for the fewest walks per 9 inning. Cito was talking about his changeup, that his changeup was very effective the last time he pitched against the Jays when he threw his first complete game in his career.
Marco Scutaro now. He and Aaron Hill have been dynamite on top of the Blue Jays order.
Yeah, they certainly have. They have really worked the count against these pitchers, especially Scutaro. A lot of leadoff walks for Marco. You mentioned his on-base percentage up over 400. That puts him in the top 10 in that category.
Ripped foul down the line. He's in a lot of categories, Tabby. Top 10 in a number of categories. Had a 7-game multi-hit streak snapped.
Hasn't been able to figure out the Angels, though. Just 1 for his last 12 against LA pitching. Finds himself in a hole here.
Fouled off of catcher Jeff Mathis and home plate umpire Angel Hernandez. Bill Welke, Tim Welke, Jim Reynolds around the horn. I don't know if the Angels get a break with an umpire named Angel.
We'll watch, right?
Scutaro taking a look at his lumber here. Go back and get it replaced.
That has happened before. I have seen that where a guy, you have to bring a couple of bats out into the on-deck circle, but you might pick up one that maybe you cracked and you didn't know about it. I don't think Marco cracked it on that foul tip.
Down he goes on strikes. Jared Weaver, a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, bringing some heat early on here.
Some good movement on it also. Here's the defense that will line up. You said no Torrey Hunter in his 8 Gold Gloves out of center field, so Gary Matthews slides over to play there tonight. Sean Figgins, Eric Ibar, who had the night off last night, goes at shortstop. The right side, it's Asturis Morales and Jeff Mathis behind the plate tonight.
This is the guy who leads the majors with 77 hits. Aaron Hill. Hitting .328, 12 home runs and 37 RBIs. Blue Jays enjoying his presence in the lineup, something they did not have for the majority of 2008.
There's some big numbers for Aaron Hill, but it looks like Weaver is just a strike-throwing machine here in the first inning. Yeah. That was that curveball that we talked about that he'll use a lot of times for strikeouts. It's got to be hard for a right-hander. You see he kind of throws across his body. He kind of steps towards third base and hides that ball, and then kind of from a 3/4 crossfire angle drops that curveball on Aaron Hill for his second strikeout.
Alex Rios now starting to pick it up after a slow start. 7-game hit streak. 2 home runs in his last 3 games. Bit of a power outage for the Blue Jays in their 3-4 spot so far. Their power has come from leadoff and the number 2 hole.
That's the kind of thing that really comes in bunches. So it was good to see Rios homer in last night's game after he homered on Sunday.
Two 2-1 pitch. Fouls off the high fastball.
This was Sunday against Justin Masterson. Hanging slider, and he didn't miss it. And then in last night's game, another ball in the inner half, and you can see how smoothly he's getting through that ball now. He's not lifting the ball, he's going through it with the bat.
Weaver thought he had him there on the breaking pitch. Staying back a little bit now, too. Said before that he was topping a lot of balls early on in the season.
Jumping out there, not seeing the ball.
And he's walked. Which brings up Vernon Wells.
Something you don't see a lot from Jared Weaver is the base on balls. It's only 19 now all season long.
Well, Bobby Abreu went a long time without a home run. Trying to get to number 2. Vernon Wells has gone nearly a month without a home run, trying to get number 6. Last home run coming on May 6th. Coincidentally against these Angels. That one fouled and hit hard. Vernon was ripping it in BP today. See if it translates during game time. Goes after successive pitches, fouled away. Vernon 0 for his last 10.
Weaver has had his trouble on the road. He's got a very good record of 4-2. But the 4 wins have all come at home. On the road, he is 0-2 with an ERA closing in on 5.
Weaver has also had Vernon Wells' number.
Yeah, just like Marco Scudero was 1 for his last 12 against the Angels. Vernon in his career just 1 for a dozen against Weaver.
Rios at first, 2 away here in the first. Rios to second, easily stolen.
Well, he picked the right pitch to go on. Weaver was pumping fastballs up in the upper part of the strike zone against Wells early on, and then he tries to get him with that breaking ball. That leg kick, and really no chance for Mathis to throw him out. It would have to have been a perfect throw right on the bag, but it sails on him a little bit. Rios picks up the stolen base. And just like that, with 2 outs, they get a runner in scoring position. This is where they came through last night, especially in that 6th inning that we talked about in the opening. 3 hits with runners in scoring position in that 1 inning.
But Vernon Wells goes down on strikes. Only the walk to Rios, sandwiched between 3 strikeouts by Jared Weaver. What a start for him and the Angels. 3-0. The Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe Bryant against LeBron James. Oh, wait, something happened. Orlando Magic.
Dwight Howard.
Tomorrow
Yes,
night,
sir.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Pre-game show starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Game 1, Magic Lakers tomorrow night. Angels with some magic here tonight. 3-0. Bottom of the order now. Gary Matthews, Jeff Mathis, Eric Ibar against Casey Janssen.
Coming into the start, Janssen, in his previous starts, have been very economical in his pitches. We talked a little bit about it last night as that cutter is grounded to the right side for out number 1. Halladay, one of the best in all of baseball in throwing just 14 pitches per inning. Casey Janssen, the same way coming into this game. He is just over 14 an inning. Maybe that goes back to the days when he was coming out of the bullpen where you have to throw strikes and you have to pound that strike zone. One of the things, though, that has been missing for Casey this year is the strikeout. Kind of an oddity. Just 2 punch-outs coming into this game.
Here's Jeff Mathis now behind the plate tonight for Mike Scioscia and the Angels. Mike Napoli last night, kind of a platoon behind the plate for the Angels. Mathis has horrendous numbers on the road. At Angel Stadium, he hits .333, but only .097 on the road so far.
Napoli with a little bit more power. Mathis is a pretty good catch and throw guy. So Mike Scioscia gets a little bit of both when he pencils in his catcher.
One of the things that happens, though, when Mathis is in the game, the Angels win.
Well, that's the most important thing, right? 102 and 61 in his last 163 starts.
Ball and 2 strikes now to the Angels catcher. Strike 3. First K of the night for Casey Janssen. And after a rocky start.
He stayed up in the upper part of the strike zone against Mathis, getting him to get after that one. Well, you can see from that shot right there, that's just a straight fastball right in the upper part of the strike zone, and Mathis swings right through it. Janssen can do that. He can move it to all 4 quadrants of that strike zone. He can pitch up if he has to, but I think he is better when he stays down.
Number 9 hitter Eric Ibar. Lazy fly ball. Over the shoulder catch from Vernon Wells. A 1-2-3 for Casey Janssen and the Jays in the second. Adam Lynn leads off when we come back. tweeting. Do you tweet?
No.
Twitter.com. You can get real-time information direct from the club, receive information on player transactions, ticket and merchandise offers, roof status, and much more. Stay connected at twitter.com/Blue Jays. And the roof status tonight, as you can tell, wide open.
Here's how out of it I am. I'm not even sure what Twitter is. Sure my kids know.
Here's Adam Lind. Who would have thought about all of these things like Twitter and Google and the iPods and everything
Facebook.
else? You got a fax machine?
Yeah,
I
finally got one.
You got a VCR, 8-track?
Still on cassettes.
Twitter's pretty popular, and you can log on to Twitter to follow the Blue Jays. Follow them tonight on TSN, our first broadcast of the season. Rod Black and Pat Tabler, glad to be with you. On the 20th anniversary of the night that this place opened. The Blue Jays did not play that night. It was a special ceremony. They actually opened the lid that night. It rained.
Did it really?
And they had trouble closing it, but this marvel opened back then. It cost $580 million to build. Ball and 2 strikes now. And strike 3. 4 strikeouts now. All the outs recorded so far have been Ks for Jared Weaver.
This one via called strike. Home plate umpire Angel Hernandez giving that inside pitch from Weaver a strike to Lynn. And it certainly is. Just on the inside part of the plate. Good pitch there.
Mentioned the Blue Jays as Scott Rowland steps in. Did not play until 2 nights later, and that's the anniversary on Friday, June 5th, of the first Blue Jays game here in this building.
So do you know what they did that first night that you were talking about? They just opened it up and
opened it up just to show that it was open and it could open, that the roof worked. First retractable roof.
Could the crowd come out? And
oh yeah, and then they got rained on. Some people weren't happy about it. Ball and a strike, but it has through the years been pretty reliable. I think sometimes people would like it open a little more, but I'll tell you what, if they didn't have this place, I don't know if they could have played a World Series here in 1992 and 1993.
I still remember in the early 80s coming to Toronto in the month of April and playing outdoor. It was awful. It was just so uncomfortable. And that's for the players. I can imagine what the fans felt like sitting in that stadium. So this place is a marvel. It's a marvel.
A little bit of trouble there for Meiser Asturis. Makes the play. Half-brother of Cesar Asturis. This was the gala back in '89. Alan Thicke was there. See, all the Canadian icons were there at the time. And there's the rain.
Oh.
A parachute is coming in.
What was it deemed the greatest entertainment?
World's greatest entertainment center. You know, it's got a few wrinkles in it now and a few gray hairs and it's gray concrete. And obviously there are different stadiums nowadays. But I'll tell you what, it has been more than serviceable through the years. And I tell you, a lot of people who come from other parts and who don't live here and come to this place and watch it, they still gasp in awe when that roof opens and closes.
Even after all these years, got friends who come up and they look around and they see the hotel and they see some of the other businesses that are inside here and they just marvel at it.
Isle over Bay, 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 away here in the bottom half of the second. 3-0 Angels. A lot of great moments in this building through the years. Not only baseball, but basketball and football, of course. Home of the Argonauts. Grey Cups, concerts. Famous Canadian singers here tonight throughout the opening pitch, and she's going to join us a little later. Let's not give it away yet for the viewers at home. We won't tell them who it is. Probably going to join us in the 3rd inning. One of Canada's most famous singers. And that's strike 3. 6 outs, 5 of them strikeouts by Jared Weaver. Is he ever on tonight? home run in this building, thanks to Fred McGriff. Blue Jays, however, lost that night to Milwaukee, 5-3. Paul Molitor playing for the Brewers that year, the first base hit, scored the first run. There's Sean Figgins now leading off for the Angels, 3-0. Figgins started this game off with a base hit, scored on the Bobby Abreu home run. Casey Janssen settling down in the second. Now a ball and 2 strikes.
Figgins is becoming one of the better leadoff hitters in the American League. He's got a very good on-base percentage, up around 400, 26 walks. Just 29 strikeouts this year.
And there's another base hit. This guy's hit safely in 19 of his last 20 games, and Figgins rounding second puts the brakes on. Alex Rios guns it to second, and so he leads off here in the 3rd inning with a double.
Well, when you fall behind and if you throw it into the wheelhouse, he's got enough power to just rip that ball down in the corner. Now, he was thinking about 3 on this play, but Rios gets over there very quickly and gets it in. They had a shot at maybe throwing behind Figgins because you can see he took that big wide turn at second base, but it's a leadoff double and the Angels are in business again.
Indeed they are. Bobby Abreu now crushed his 2nd home run of the season. First in quite some time, back in the 1st. Right center field. This time tops that. Aaron Hill makes the play at first. 1 away here. And we talked earlier about this famous Canadian singer who was here tonight on the 20th anniversary. And just like that, we bring her in. Avril Lavigne, hello.
Hi. I can't believe I'm standing here at a Blue Jays game right now, talking to you guys with this headpiece on. What's up?
Well, you're used to talking in a microphone or singing in a microphone. Here's Vladimir Guerrero. I know one thing for sure, and I know you're a fabulous singer and you're a great Canadian. I know you love baseball.
Yeah. Play ball.
And a Blue Jay fan.
Yes, that's correct. I played baseball growing up.
From Napanee, of course. Here it is. Here's your first pitch tonight.
Oh, great.
I was very impressed with your pitching. You got some personal pitching fundamentals from some of the pitchers, didn't you?
Yes, I practiced with Brandon League, and I was actually a pitcher when I played baseball. So
let's take a look. Are you better nowadays? Or have you been doing a lot of singing? A little outside.
A little to the left, but hey, at least it didn't bounce on the floor.
Oh, that's all right. Brandon League was throwing with you earlier, and I know he gave you his autograph.
Yeah,
I think he wanted your autograph.
I've been signing balls all day, but it was my first time getting an autograph in a really long time. But he was super cool, and it was a really great experience, and I was honored.
How many times have you been here at this place and watching a baseball game?
I mean, the last time I was probably on a school trip, coming to when it was the Sky Dome, coming to see the Blue Jays back when they had their old symbol with the bird.
Yeah, you know, the guy beside you used to wear that symbol at one time, and you're 7 years old when actually I think they won the World Series. So.
Wicked.
No.
Yeah.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
There's you got the ring.
Who was your favorite player back then?
There it is.
I don't know, but I collected the baseball cards, and I still have them.
You were supposed to say me. Oh. Remember, we rehearsed this.
You!
Look, there's the ring. There's the ring, Avril.
You got a ring?
Yeah, here,
that's
go ahead.
Sweet.
Don't walk off too far without that. Yeah. See, you can only go that far.
That's cool.
You sold really a lot of records. You know, you got a lot.
Yeah,
of gold.
You got a lot of gold
things,
yourself.
Yeah. The runners at the corners now with 1 away. Kendria Morales now. Jansen delivers and fouled away. So you were saying you love baseball. You played baseball as a kid.
Yeah.
Have you been singing all your life? I know you won that contest, and you sort of took off after that.
When I was 14, I sang with Shania Twain on stage. I won a contest to sing with her. I got a record deal when I was 16, and my first record came out when I was 17, and I'm working on my 4th one now, and have a clothing line, so things are cool.
Yeah, your baseball career suffered, though.
But back to sports, I really loved playing hockey, and I played hockey on the guys' team growing up in the winter, and then in the summer I'd play baseball. So, and I have an older brother who I would look up to. And the glove that I wore out today to throw the pitch was the glove that I played with.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I still have my hockey gear, too, at home.
Do you still skate at all? I mean,
yeah, I rollerblade. In LA, people don't play hockey
Skater
as much.
girl.
Yeah, skater girl. I guess so.
Ball and a strike now. So you're back home for a few days?
Yes, here to do some work and to visit my family.
Oh, good. Yeah. And see the Jays. Ball and a strike now.
See the Blue Jays. So they won last night.
They did. 6-4. They got up now. Do you follow the Blue Jays a lot now still? I mean, you're so busy performing, or
I haven't really watched the games on TV very much.
No? Well, no, why? You're a broadcaster now. You're part of it with us. Can you stay for the rest of the season?
Sure.
Help our ratings.
Only if I can start playing.
There you go. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Morales.
When you played, what position did you say you were?
I was pitcher, and that was windmill. And I played on the girls' team, and we won the A champs, and we got purple trophies.
You still have those trophies and all that stuff?
Yes, I do.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Oh, here's a base hit. And another run scores. Make it 4-0 Angels.
Casey has had his problems with the top part of the lineup here for the Angels. The double, the walk to Guerrero, and they had the double play set up. But he just could not finish off Kendry Morales, who's turning into a pretty decent hitter.
Now, do you go to ball games anywhere else?
No, I live in LA, and I'm usually on tour, but I was just saying to my friend, I kid you not, 3 days ago, my friend Jamie and I were driving in the car, and I said, we need to go to a baseball game. And we were talking about baseball, and we were talking about drinking beer and eating nachos and hot dogs and all that fun stuff. And then next day, I got the call to come here, and I was like, how weird is that? But really cool.
The Jays might be going out to California next year.
Oh, really?
In interleague play. So...
well, I'll be there.
Open invitation.
Awesome.
You know, if they're at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whoa, that's
in
a nice
hard
one.
again. Vernon Wells watching this. Juan Rivera is out. Guerrero's tagging, but gets back to second. Nice play by Vernon Wells.
Yeah, one of the toughest plays as a runner at second base. That long fly ball to dead center field. Do you go and tag up? Do you go halfway? Wells has a beat on it. He gets to the wall and makes a great catch. Now, Vladimir Guerrero, the runner, had gone about halfway and then realized that Wells was going to catch that ball and could not get back in time. You see him about halfway, he gets back, and then thinks twice about trying to tag up as the Blue Jays got the ball in quickly.
Now Meiser Asturis. 4-0 Angels. 2 out, 2 on. Who's your favorite athlete if you had a sports star? I know so many Canadians look up to you and say that Avril Lavigne is their favorite singer.
Well, when I was little, I liked Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah. Everybody likes Wayne Gretzky.
But it's kind of ironic that Los Angeles and Toronto are playing. Both my homes.
Yeah, there you go. Ball and a strike now. Maybe it's fated that you were supposed to be here, going to that game the other day. Now you're going to go and have some nachos and sit in the stands.
Yeah,
today?
I'm going to go eat a bunch of junk food now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Avril.
What a blast.
Nice seeing you.
Awesome.
And good luck to you.
Cool.
My pleasure.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you. Good luck.
And then, enjoy your seat. You probably got good seats tonight, too, right?
Yeah, we have a box.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, there
Can't
you go.
get any better than that.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Take
Good luck.
care.
Thanks for
See ya.
coming up.
Avril Lavigne, one of Canada's most famous superstar singers. 2 balls and a strike now to Asturis. And Jansen scoops quickly to Overbay. Another run crosses. 4-0 Angels. After 2.5 here at Rogers Center tonight. "20 years ago, the first game was June the 5th, so the 20th anniversary for the Blue Jays is actually Friday against the Kansas City Royals. And look at all of the guys from the 1989 team that will be here and honored that night and honoring the anniversary of this stadium. 4-0 Los Angeles into the bottom of the third. Kevin Millar, Rod Barajas, then Marco Scutero. Jared Weaver's had some time now to sit back and relax. The Blue Jays need to get their bats going.
Well, he is in some kind of rhythm. Painting his fastball as that ball is hit out into left field to Rivera for the first out. He's on some kind of strikeout roll also. Right-handers have had a devil of a time this year against Weaver. 190 batting average, just 7 extra base hits all season long by a right-handed hitter. And you can see why when he's throwing that breaking ball for strikes.
Number 9 hitter Rod Barajas. Blue Jays jumped to a 6-0 lead last night for Roy Halladay. More than enough support. Angels fought back though. Made it a close one. Halladay went the distance. Got his 9th win. 14 strikeouts. 3 strikeouts in the 9th inning. Did it with flair to end the ball game. Barajas sky high. Rivera again down the line without number 2.
You know, I had to ask Cito too when you talk about the 133 pitches. I had to ask him today, was there any thought after the game of maybe giving Roy Halladay an extra day because of that effort last night? 133 pitches, 14 strikeouts, complete game. I mean, the well was dry when he came off that mound at the end of the game, and Cito said, no, you know, maybe later on, but he's on a roll right now, and our starting rotation revolves around Halladay, and he'll pitch on his normal every 5th day, so he'll throw again on Sunday.
Marco Scutero struck out. One of 5 strikeouts already for Jared Weaver. And another pop out. Sturis making the play. 3 fly outs here in the 3rd inning. 4-0 Angels after 3 tonight on TSN. Angeles Angels of Anaheim. A little tongue twister of a team. Still don't get that. Anyway, 4-0 over the Blue Jays heading to the 4th inning. Son of Sarge, Gary Matthews Jr.
You mentioned those 5 hits already for the Angels. They had 7 singles last night against Roy Halladay. Already 3 of the 5 hits tonight have been for extra bases. Home run, a couple of doubles.
Gary Matthews Jr. coming back to the Angels after off-season knee surgery. Came back earlier than expected. They like having him back. Homer and 15 RBIs. Another one of those switch hitters in this Angels lineup. Jansen way ahead of him. It seems tonight when Casey Jansen gets that first pitch across for a strike, and we've talked about for many years the most important pitch, he has had success.
In that first inning, when he gave up those 3 runs, he only had a first pitch strike to 1 batter. So you're right. If you throw strikes early, it just seems to open everything up.
There is strikeout number 2, which brings up the guy he first struck out, Jeff Mathis.
When he was a reliever in 2007, he averaged 5 strikeouts per 9 innings. You can come in and kind of just throw it as hard as you can for that 1 inning. This year, though, just 1 strikeout per 9 innings. So that's a good sign there, getting his second one here in the 4th.
Down the pipe for strike 1. Team that has won its division 4 of the last 6 years. Last season a 100-win season. Basically owned the AL West. Oh, look out. Mathis goes down to first base.
Nothing intentional there from Jansen. It looked like he was just trying to push him off the plate a little bit with a fastball. Looked like it got him right in the rib cage. So another base runner for the Angels. They've had one on in 3 of the 4 innings now.
Eric Ibar had a fly out to Vernon Wells to end the 2nd inning. A 1-2-3 for Jansen. Ibar's numbers. Older brother Willie, of course, a big leaguer. Talked about the Angels and what they've done the last few years, Tabby. This is a different Angels team this year in so many ways. At 500, they're not used to being at 25-25. But they've had a lot to go through at the beginning of this year, and of course in the offseason, losing some big names.
They lost Teixeira through free agency. They've had injuries like no other team, I think, in all of baseball this year to their starting pitchers. And somehow they have been able to keep it at 500. I still think they're going to win their division once they get everybody back and healthy. Kelvin Escobar, he's supposed to throw on Saturday. Urban Santana just isn't right just yet since coming off the DL. John Lackey has made a couple of starts as he started the year on the disabled list. They're still trying to work through that bullpen.
Down to second. They got him.
Rod throws out another batter. That looked like it was a hit and run. Mike Scioscia loves to start runners when he's in a good hitter's count. A lot like the National League type of play, and they start the runner, but Ibar swings right through it, and then Mathis has no chance. Barajas with a quick, inaccurate throw down to second base. Scudero with the tag, and just like that, 2 are out.
Catcher gets catcher. Still an even count. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 away now to Eric Ibar. Hit hard down the line into the corner. The bounce, Rios will turn and fire to second, but Ibar has a double.
Swinging the bat a lot better has been Eric Ibar. And you can see how Casey Janssen is very upset with himself with 2 outs. Looked like one of those spinning breaking balls, and it hangs over the strike zone for Ibar. That is right in his hitter's plane, and he doesn't misses it. Rips it down into the right field corner. His 9th double of the season, and for the moment, Rob Barajas' play at second base, that throw has saved a run.
Here's the leadoff guy, though, has hurt Jansen tonight, stung him twice and scored twice. Sean Figgins. Speedy Ibar at second base. Figgins fights off a breaking pitch, fouls it away.
You know, because Figgins does not hit with a lot of power, the Jays might have a shot at getting that run. If he does hit a single into the outfield, you can see how the outfield is very shallow with Sean Figgins at the plate, especially Adam Lind in left field. Spray charts say that he hits the ball all over the place. The outfield playing straight up.
Jansen ahead again. There's Mike Scioscia, manager of the World Championship Angel team back in 2002.
Well, they'll bunt, they'll hit and run. Sometimes it works, sometimes it backfires on you, but you got to play to the strength of your ball club.
Play a little National League baseball.
The longest tenured manager in the American League now is 10th season.
1-2. And a hopper out to the gap. This will easily score Ibar. And Figgins has his 2nd double of the night.
Yeah, his 3rd hit. He has just poured out Casey Janssen here tonight. RBI double, back-to-back doubles after 2 were out. Figgins getting that on-base percentage up again right around 400. Another off-speed pitch, and it's hit hard into right center field. This would have been 3 if Rios doesn't get over there and cut it off and get it back in.
Cito Gaston did not have to go to that phone last night. Now in the 4th inning, his bullpen is up. Bobby Abreu now. The Blue Jays made a roster move last night. Speaking of that bullpen, there is the newcomer, Dirk Hayhurst, just called up from AAA Las Vegas after Brian Wolf was sent down last night. And it looks like Hayhurst, he was the first guy to get up. Talked to Cito before the game. He says he has no hesitancy to throw him into the fire if need be.
Well, if Casey can't get out of this inning, that fire is going to be pretty quick.
Count is 1-1 to Abreu with Figgins at second base. And a 5-0 lead.
He just has not been able to throw the ball where he wants to tonight. 7 hits, 5 runs now in the 4th inning.
Abreu, of course, last year, part of the Yankees. Yankees lead the American League East right now. Red Sox in second place and the Blue Jays in third. A lot closer than it was a year ago. Tampa Bay got off to a great start. Blue Jays were looking up at the standings for most of the season. In fact, all of the season. Yankees a game on Boston, 2 on Toronto to begin the night. Angels 4.5 back of Texas in the West. Figgins at second. Here comes the 2-2. Grounded to Aaron Hill for out number 3, but the Angels tack on another, and Casey Jansen's night getting close to an expiration date. 5-0 Los Angeles to the bottom of the 4th. Aaron Hill when we come back. Night done. He's given up 7 hits and 5 runs. Has not looked sharp. Got off to a terrible start here tonight. 3-0 Angels early on as he chats with Brad Arnsberg. Sean Camp now up in the bullpen, and Blue Jays maybe need a long man now.
Yeah, still throwing, so that might be a little bit of a signal that he might be in the ball game. But they first have to figure out what to do with Jared Weaver. It's been sensational through 3. Just 1 over the limit. That was a walk back in the first inning to Alex Rios.
Meat of the order coming up for the Blue Jays. Aaron Hill, Alex Rios, then Vernon Wells, followed by Adam Lind. Blue Jays looking for their first hit of the ball game here in the 4th inning. Randy Johnson tonight trying to make history, looking to become the latest member of the 300-win club. The start with Washington, however, has been delayed by rain.
Did that game start? Can you tell? Because that wouldn't be fair if he started and then they had a rain delay and he couldn't go back out there.
Late in the first, it did start. So we'll update you on that. Jared Weaver. No hitting the Blue Jays so far. Blue Jays arguably the best hitting team in the majors so far this season. Of course, had a 9-game losing streak, lost their bats for a while. woken up in the last little while.
Cito was saying, you know, he felt like they were still hitting the ball, but they just weren't hitting the ball when the runners got on. They'd get a guy on and then another guy on, and then they just couldn't come up with that big base hit. But they seem to be the team that we saw earlier in the year scoring some runs. Hill pops it up, and there's one down.
Through 54 games, Blue Jays lead the majors in hits. 542, and here's what the offense has done.
Yeah, the average is still #1 in the American League. On base percentage, which is so big, I think. It's a big, big stat. They are 5th. The runs per game have come down from earlier in the year, but 5 runs a game, if you can average that, that's still a good number. You're going to win a lot of games if you can average 5 a game.
Yeah, nothing tonight means diddly against this guy, Jared Weaver. Great command against the Blue Jays. Alex Rios walked back in the first inning. He's been the only base runner for Toronto.
Boy, he is just keeping that ball away from right-handers. You can see how hard it would be for a right-handed batter to pick the ball up against Jared Weaver, how he really turns that front side and crossfires, throws against his body.
Sean Figgins. Infield hasn't had to do a lot of work here as well. Good fly ball outs and strikeouts predominantly.
That's the first
That's
assist.
the first assist, the first ground ball out here tonight.
Figgins is playing a much better third base. Mike Scioscia was talking about him the other day, how he's really come into his own as a third baseman, fielding wise, as Wells pops that ball up and out of play. Remember when Figgins came up, they moved him from position to position, one of those super utility type of players, and I know from experience how hard it is to become good at one spot if they're moving you around playing different positions. But for the most part, they've left him at third base now, and he's done a really nice job. He gets good jumps on balls.
Vernon Wells, one of the 5 strikeouts for Jared Weaver, who is kind of familiar with his stuff.
Well, he's staying in the upper part of the strike zone against Wells, really challenging him with fastballs about letter high. And when you do that, you get a guy start looking for that high fastball, you can drop a curveball on him. There's another one.
Back in 2006, Jared Weaver opened his major league career the blazing 9-0 record. Had an American League rookie record for a starting pitcher to open a career with the great Whitey Ford back in 1950. He's always had tremendous stuff.
Yeah, it really fell in the draft because there was talk of him, signing for big numbers, and the Angels were able to pick him up with the 12th pick overall. He was definitely a #1 type of player.
No hit the Blue Jays through 4 innings tonight with 6 strikeouts. 2 Ks against Vernon Wells. 5-0 LA. Cross, Thursday night, TSN 2, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time, Bayhawks and Nationals. That's tomorrow night on TSN 2. And tonight on TSN, Angels lead the Blue Jays 5-0 after 4 innings. And Casey Janssen is done for the night.
So you're right. The Blue Jays have to go to their long man now. Casey Janssen just last 4 innings. And it's Sean Camp out of the bullpen, the long man. 17th game of the year for Camp. He'll sink and slide that fastball that he has. Throws lots of strikes, and they're going to need about 2 or 3 innings out of him. Camp last worked 5 days ago against the Boston Red Sox when he only pitched a third of an inning, had a strikeout, and gave up 1 hit.
Free swinging Vladdy Guerrero. He'll go after anything, and he'll hit it wherever it is. He can make contact.
From his shoe tops to his shoulders.
Even if the ball's bouncing. I've seen him hit bounced balls. Always without gloves. Former Montreal Expo. There he goes. Free swinging down on strikes.
Big sweeping breaking ball from Sean Camp to pick up the strikeout. And when you've got a free swinger like that, like Vladimir Guerrero, you've got him in a hole, 2 strikes, you can expand that strike zone. You don't have to throw it over the plate to get him out.
Hasn't seen a pitch that he won't swing at.
You can't walk off the island, right?
Yeah.
You got to hit your way off.
Kendry Morales now. Base hit and an RBI back in the 3rd inning. Angels open the score with 3 in the 1st, 1 in the 3rd, and 1 in the 4th off of Casey Janssen. 7 hits given up by Janssen. Blue Jays have yet to record a hit tonight. We're in the 5th inning. Morales with that very open stance to begin. And squares around. And Morales will walk back to the dugout. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Sean Camp.
Looks like he's got a good breaking ball, at least through the first 2 batters here. Again, 2 strikes. And that ball just kind of waffles in there, kind of like one of those frisbee sliders that we've seen.
Now Juan Rivera. Couple of fly outs here tonight, but has hit the ball hard. You saw the action on that slider. Boy, Camp's got it working tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has come out of that bullpen throwing strikes. Cito Gaston has shown a lot of confidence in him. He really likes him. He likes him in this situation. You know, just come out, throw strikes, keep the score right here, and let's see if you can give our offense a chance to come back in this ballgame.
Wow. There he goes. Oh, Sean Camp out of the bullpen. Guerrero, Morales, and Rivera. 3 strikeouts in a row, and here comes Jared Reaver again. Be signing autographs in downtown Toronto on Friday between noon and 1 o'clock. At the J Shop at Sears, Yonge and Dundas. Visit the jshop.ca and see Adam Lind, downtown TO. Adam Lind's goal right now is to try to get the first Blue Jay hit of the night. Jared Weaver has baffled the Blue Jays. 6 strikeouts so far, no hits into the bottom of the 5th.
I like his chances. 8 home runs for Adam Lind. He hit 9 all of last year. His career high is 11. Set a couple of years ago. Now Weaver will work a little bit different to the 2 left-handed batters that Cito Gaston has in his lineup tonight than what we have seen against the right-hander. He'll use his changeup just a little bit more. Try and keep the ball away from him. The changeup is the pitch that Cito was telling us before the game. That ball is yanked foul down the right field line. The changeup was the pitch that Weaver really had working when he shut out the Jays back on May the 7th. Excuse me, 6-1. Complete game. The only problem in that game, he gave up a home run. Was the only way the Blue Jays were able to score.
Again, Jared Weaver very effectively tonight. 59 pitches so far, 39 for strikes. Way ahead of the Blue Jays. Line to center field, and there's the first hit for extra bases past Gary Matthews, and Adam Lind has a double.
They were playing Adam Lind to hit the ball to left center field. Gary Matthews Jr. was shading him over there, and he just could not catch up to this ball that Lind goes down and gets. 2 strikes, and it looked like he threw him a changeup. Yep, down and away, and he stays right over the top of it and covers it just out of the reach of Matthews for the Jays' first hit. If he plays him straight up, he makes that catch, but he was shading him to left center.
Again, Matthews in center field tonight. Torrey Hunter not playing tonight, a night off for the Angels. Scott Rowland. Pop out tonight. Rowland, then Lyle Overbay. Blue Jays. Nobody out here. Man in scoring position. But down 5 in inning 5. Blue Jays have been a beneficiary of a healthy Scott Rowland this year too. Been a big factor offensively and defensively.
Hitting over 300. They asked Cito Gaston yesterday, you know, can you live with the offense that Rowland has given you? And he said, you know, I don't worry too much about the home runs. It's driving in runs and hitting for a high average, and that's exactly what Rowland has given him this year. 306 average and playing great third base also.
Just 3 home runs, but 18 ribbies. Two-one pitch. Goes chasing. Concern last year, I think, at some time that, you know, Scott Rowland wasn't the healthiest guy. Delayed start to make his Blue Jay debut, and then his chronic shoulder problems, as you see Overbay on deck. Adjusted his swing. Made good on it.
Yeah, he's shorter. He's compact to the ball. He's hitting the ball all over the ballpark. Weaver has done a good job here tonight to the right-handed batters, living at the top of the strike zone. He's got one of those exploding fastballs tonight that he feels that if he throws it up there, the Jay batters can't get on top of it. So as a hitter, you really have to concentrate on getting him to get that ball down. Make him bring it down. Take that high fastball out of his repertoire.
And he got him another strikeout. 7 now for Jared Weaver. 1 away here. And here comes Lyle Overbay.
He came into this game third in the AL in ERA, and you could see why. Holds the string on rolling, and he swings right through it.
Overbay, one of the 7 strikeout victims. That was in the second inning. 23 RBIs for him on the season. A chance to cash one right here, and he will. Lind will come home, and the Blue Jays are on the board. Overbay with yet another double. That's what he does.
Yeah, and very quietly, that batting average keeps creeping up for Lyle Overbay. Spraying the ball all over the ballpark. That time, a good piece of hitting. His 13th double of the season. Weaver tries to throw one of these cutters on the inside part. He pulls his hands in and rips the ball into the corner in right field. No chance for Abreu to get the runner, but he thinks he has a shot at Overbay at second base, but really throws a little bit offline, and an easy double for Overbay.
So both left-handers, Adam Lind and Lyle Overbay, with doubles. Now Kevin Millar. Lefties. Hitting .236 against Weaver.
Well, he's made his bread and butter this year against right-handers. Righty's just $190.
Boy, paints that inside of the plate. And again, way ahead of Kevin Millar.
We were talking earlier how important it is to get ahead, strike one. Weaver is no different than anybody else. I looked up his numbers today. When he is ahead 0-1 in the count, batters are hitting 187 against Jared Weaver. And he gets so tough when guys get on base. It's a lot like Roy Halladay last night, where when Halladay gets himself into trouble, it seems like he's able to kind of like ratchet it up a notch and pitch his way out of trouble. I think Weaver is the same way. When he gets runners into scoring position, which haven't been very often this year, but when he has, he ratchets it up, and batters are only hitting 182 against him.
Little conference there between Mathis and Weaver, probably going over the signs. With Overbay at second. The sequence they have now, 0-2. And fouled away by Millar. DH tonight. Nice catch made back here. Can always gauge the catch by the response. Nice night for baseball here in Toronto. Lid has not been open a whole lot. It's been kind of a miserable spring. A little cool, but it's a beautiful night. Gets away from Mathis. Overbay going nowhere.
Yeah, you're down by 4 runs, nowhere to go. You don't want to be running into any outs right now. Nick Leyva is going to play it one base at a time. He knows he's down by some runs. They need base runners right now.
Oh, very close. Weaver much more methodical in this inning. He's not had many base runners before now. Has not had to pitch from the stretch since the first inning. Seems like he slowed everything down right now. Don't you get a sense of that?
You certainly do. You make him. Ball's off the foot of Kevin Millar.
Seemed to be in a real good rhythm early on.
And I think that's a good thing. You know, when you can get that pitcher who is just pounding the strike zone, as you see that ball right off the ankle or the shin bone of Millar.
Doesn't have one of those pads there either.
But you get them out of their rhythm, and all of a sudden they're falling behind hitters. They're not jumping ahead. They're not throwing the quality pitches that you saw earlier in the game.
Well, Millar's making him work here. The veteran Kevin Millar. Jared Weaver, who of course also pitched in the same team with his brother Jeff a couple of years ago with the Angels. Count remains 2-2. Ground ball. Figgins scoops and throws. Overbay goes nowhere, and now 2 away. Another mound conference here with Rod Barajas coming to the plate.
Catchers are always changing the signs, and they're always talking about how they want to set up hitters. Now, especially when a runner gets down to second base, they might change the sign from first sign indicator. We'll use the second sign, any sign after 2. We can do touches. There's all kind of different ways that they can disguise what they're going to throw to the batter so that the runner out there at second base doesn't steal anything.
Barajas, 3 home runs, 27 RBIs. Hitting just under 300. Fly ball out back in the 3rd inning. Blue Jays with 2 hits in the game. Both of those coming here in the bottom of the 5th inning. They trail 5-1. The complexion of this game could change in a hurry. The Blue Jays can get even one more here in this inning because of the way Sean Kemp was throwing out of the bullpen.
Yeah, I hope he keeps that going. The complexion changed in last night's game. Remember, 6-0, Halliday's dealing, and all of a sudden the Angels put 4 on the board. Maybe the Jays can do something like that.
Little nubber back to Weaver. The Blue Jays get 1 thanks to doubles from Lind and Overbay. They're on the board, but they're down 4 after 5.
In the 5th inning, he comes in and just buries the middle of the lineup for the Los Angeles Angels, strikes out 3 of them. His career high is 7 strikeouts, set back in 2007 when he was a member of the Tampa Bay Rays. He has never started a game in the major leagues, but he looked awfully comfortable last inning. See if he can keep it going here in the 6th.
Meiser Asturis, Gary Matthews Jr., then Jeff Mathis for the Angels, who lead 5-1. As we head to the 6th, Blue Jays break up the no-hitter of Jared Weaver. They've got to get some runs and get back in the batter's box in a hurry here. Lyle Overbay will take it himself. Blue Jays again beginning the night a couple games back of the Red Sox or the Yankees and A game back of the Red Sox. Red Sox leading Detroit right now 4-0 in the 6th inning. J.D. Drew has his 8th home run. Yankees are trailing in their game right now to Texas 4-1.
That road trip for Texas, I think, is going to tell a lot about their club as that ball is hit down the left field line by Matthews.
Down the line and an easy double here. Throws perfectly placed down the line. No chance for Adam Lind or Scott Rowland.
The Jays really pinch the middle of the infield, so the corner fielders really come off those lines, playing the percentages that the ball is going to stay in the middle of the diamond. Well, sometimes this happens. Ball on the outside part of the plate. No chance for Scott Rowland to get that one. It's hit softly down the left field line. Lynn plays it off the wall. And Matthews has another extra base hit. Now they have 8 hits, the Angels, and 6 of them are for extra bases.
Now the catcher, Jeff Mathis. Strikeout tonight, was hit by a Casey Janssen pitch back in the 4th inning, and then subsequently was caught stealing. Not a lot of pop in his bat. By the way, that Washington San Francisco game we talked about earlier, Randy Johnson going for win number 300 tonight, may not happen. Delayed by rain. They did not actually start that game tonight, but they are saying they're going to try to get it in.
That's good. If he didn't go out there throwing in and then sit down for a couple of hours.
Johnson looking to join the 300 win club. Most assuredly will sometime soon. 4 straight pitches, all off the plate. 2 on now with 1 away. Well, the Track and Field Festival of Excellence goes Thursday, June 11th, 7:30 Eastern and 4:30 Pacific on TSN. Speaking of track, this is a team that has a few track stars on it. The LA Angels, including this guy, Eric Ibar.
Yeah, they certainly do. You know, another thing that they do really well, we were kind of breaking down their team offensively earlier in this game, is they really go from first to third better than anybody, I think, in all of baseball.
They lead the majors in that department.
They did it. They keep stats like this for the Angels. How many times they went from first to third. Last year they did it 105 times, which was tops in the major leagues. They actually tied the Minnesota Twins for the most time. This year again they are at it again in that stat, going first to third. 38 times, which is the second most in the big leagues.
Eric Ibar, who doubled earlier and got another run on the board for the Angels in the 4th, goes down on strikes. So now 2 away with 2 on.
Tough to track that ball right there. Watch the bend and the break right underneath the bat of Eric Ibar. 4 strikeouts already for Sean Camp.
Here's the guy you got to be careful with, though. He's killed the Jays tonight. 2 doubles and a single, an RBI, and 2 runs scored for Sean Figgins.
We talked about Figgins as a leadoff batter. One of the better leadoff batters now in the American League. He's really become a patient hitter. Coming into this series, only 18% of his swings this season have been at pitches out of the strike zone. That's something you want from your leadoff batter, who really knows that strike zone. Good pitch right there, and he just looked at it. He has seen just over 4 pitches per at bat, which is the 13th highest in the American League. And he has improved that average each of the last 3 years.
Close there. Camp wanted the call. 2 balls and a strike now. Matthews and Mathis still on base.
You know a guy is hot and he's seeing the ball when he is able to take a pitch like that for ball 2. Didn't even offer at it.
That time he watches strike 2 go by. So the count even now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Camp again doing a good job playing Mr. Hold'em. Trying to hold it here. There's a roller to Aaron Hill, and once again Sean Camp does the job. 5-1 Angels. Bottom of the 6th we go. Tonight to sleep over underneath the tower. The family sleepover is happening the weekend of Saturday, June 13th. Marlins in town. We're doing the game that day, as a matter of fact. $95 a person, includes a tour of the Blue Jays clubhouse, autograph session. You stay overnight. You've got to come down. It's fabulous. An all-nighter here at Rogers Center.
Bring your sleeping bag that day, Blackie.
I'm going to do it. I'm not sure if this place has ever seen my kids. They never be the same. Anyway, 6th inning now. Marco Scutero, Aaron Hill, and Alex Rios. 5-1 Angels. About hit the Blue Jays 8-2 tonight. Jared Weaver has been the reason for that.
Boy, strike 1. You've seen a lot from him. Seems like he has worked ahead of the count all night long.
And Marco Scutero, another strikeout victim here. Twice he has struck out tonight. Scutero came into the game one of the hottest Blue Jay hitters. But Jared Weaver has silenced practically everybody.
Yeah, the Angels have had his number. You get ahead a couple of strikes, and the right-handers have really been fishing at that breaking ball. They just have not had a good look at that curveball.
Eight strikeouts now for Jared Weaver. Matches a season high. Aaron Hill jackknifes inside. A ball and a strike now with one away.
Jays just not, they have not been able to sit on one pitch from Weaver so far tonight. He's been getting all of his pitches over. And it's looking a lot like Halliday's start last night.
Well, that now matches a career high set last year for Jared Weaver against Tampa in August.
Throwing a lot of changeup with 2 strikes here. Really has Hill out in front and fooled on him. Struck out the side in the first inning. Got a couple of more in the second. And now the first 2 here in the 6th.
Alex Rios now. I know a few of the Angel pitchers have been talking about how they were anticipating seeing Roy Halladay pitch last night, even as an opposition, just to see how he worked and, you know, getting a few hints. Guess what? They learned well.
Yeah, Weaver was one of them, too. Weaver and Lackey were kind of commenting they like coming to Toronto if they're not pitching, and Halladay is. They like to see how he works and how he really commands the tempo of the game. I get the feeling Weaver is doing the same thing about the tempo and commanding it. 0-2 again.
Climbing the ladder there, but Rios does not bite. This is what Doc did last night. 14 strikeouts, career high for him. And now a career high for Jared Weaver. 10 Ks on the night. Wow, another 1, 2, 3. 3 strikeouts in a row for Jared Weaver. What a job. Weaving it tonight. 5-1 Angels. Rogers Jays on TSN. The Florida Marlins in Toronto Friday, June 12th. We'll also have the game on Saturday, June 13th, right here on TSN. Tonight, the Angels lead by 4 runs as we head to the 7th inning. Bobby Abreu, Vladimir Guerrero, and Kendry Morales due up here for the Angels against Sean Camp, who came in to begin the 5th inning. And Overbay makes the play at first. Camp replacing Casey Janssen, who was ineffective tonight. Now Vladdy Guerrero. A kind of flat Blue Jay dugout after last night. Roy Halladay show. Bats have been very quiet. Never know, though, still far from over.
Well, if you can get Weaver out of the game, I mean, he is just dealing right now. But if you can get out in that bullpen, you have a chance, at least by the numbers that we have seen so far this year. Doesn't mean they're going to do it, but they've got a chance.
This is an Angel team that has also been prone to give up some leads, lose ball games in the late innings. They of a bullpen that is nowhere near what it was last year. Their bullpen ranking last in the American League with a 5.71 ERA, so you're right. Try to get to Weaver, try to get to the bullpen, maybe have a shot.
They don't look like they're.
No, they
look very comfortable.
And Vladdy Guerrero trying to give Weaver a little more support here. 2 for 3 night for him.
Just missed a home run his first time up. Hit one off the top of the wall in right center field. He's got great plate coverage. Even with 2 strikes, he's going to swing hard. 392 career home runs for Vladimir Guerrero.
Now Kendry Morales. Base hit, strikeout, ground out. Talk about a guy put in a tough spot in Los Angeles this season, having to replace Mark Teixeira. Guy who was once banned from baseball in his homeland in Cuba back in 2003. They feared he would defect. Played in Winnipeg back in 1999 at the Pan American Games for Cuba. One of their best ever players. And then, in fact, he did defect back in 2004. He was the 18th Cuban to join the Angels, the first since Louis Tion back in 1982.
Signed as that free agent back in 2004. A big 6-year contract. And he's just now starting, I think, to come into his own as a big league hitter.
Used to be a pitcher in Cuba. It's a big pitcher.
He was paid $5 a month for playing for that national team.
Now Juan Rivera with 2 away. Due up for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 7th. Vernon Wells, Adam Lind, and Scott Rowland. And again, that Angel bullpen is up, but no one is even taking off a jacket yet. They're just watching. Blue Jays back at it with this team. The Angels tomorrow afternoon here. You're in Toronto. It's an afternoon game.
John Lackey, I know, is throwing for the Angels. One of the better right-handers, I think, in baseball. He'll be opposed by Brian Talent.
Broken bat, fly ball, and now it's stretch time here at Rogers Center, and the Blue Jays need to get their bats going. Down 5-1. bottom half of the 7th inning. Blue Jays down 5-1, have been out hit 9-2. Jared Weaver has put on a remarkable display tonight. Vernon Wells, first pitch hacking. And making the play is Ibar at short for out number 1. Wells, 2 strikeouts and a fly out here so far tonight.
One of those humpback liners that wasn't hit very high in the middle of the infield. And for just a second there was a little confusion in the middle of the infield, but the shortstop has pop-up priority over anybody in the infield. Ibar calls him off.
The only trouble the right-hander of the Angels has had tonight is with this guy and Lyle Overbay. The only 2 hits from the Blue Jays for doubles against the left-handed hitters. So maybe Lind can get something going here in the 7th.
We talked about at the beginning what a role that Jared Weaver was on coming into this game, giving up just 1 run in 4 of his last 5 starts. That run started against the Blue Jays back on May the 7th when he threw his first complete game in his career, and he hasn't stopped.
He has been humming here tonight, constantly ahead of Blue Jay batters. The 1-2 pitch. Lind into the corner. Guerrero has a gun. Lind has to hurry. Here's the throw, and Adam Lind is safe.
Second
so Lind
double.
Gets it started, Tabby.
Just like his last at bat when he led off the 5th inning with a double. Jared Weaver is not going to be happy with this 0-2 pitch. They want to come in and freeze Lind, but he's waiting for it. Now, because the ball was hit so hard, Bobby Abreu, the right fielder, has a shot at Lind. So he sticks his head down and sprints into second base just ahead of the throw. See, that's just good hitting. Yes, it's a mistake by Weaver, but you got to have an idea of what he's trying to do to you. And he tried to slip that 2-seam fastball by him, but Lind was ready for it.
Abreu with a great throw. And now Scott Rowland. And once again, he'll go through the signs again.
Man on second. This time Eric Ibar is going to come in the shortstop. So why is that important? He's got to know what the pitch is so he can talk with his second baseman. And he's also got to give a sign to the third baseman if it's an off-speed pitch. You'll see shortstops and middle infielders kind of give those corner fielders a little bit of a heads up when there's an off-speed pitch, anticipating that ball being hit down to him.
Scott Rowland. Right to Ibar. Sidearm across for out number 2. Now the only other hitter tonight for the Blue Jays was this guy coming up, Lyle Overbay.
The numbers are starting to bear out what we have said about Jared Weaver. He has really owned right-handers this year. Left-handers about 240. And it's been the lefties who've been able to reach him.
Overbay doubled in the 5th and doubled home Adam Lind, the only Blue Jay run. Jays 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. Weaver getting close to the 100 pitch mark. Next pitch, number 98. Didn't need a lot of pitches in the first few innings. One of the few times he's been behind a Blue Jay batter now.
It's a funny thing about strikeouts. I mean, they're great and everybody loves them and all that kind of stuff. And we've talked about Weaver setting a career high, but they also run that pitch count up.
Works himself into a hitter's count. Kevin Millar on deck if the Blue Jays can extend this. The 3-1. Takes. The biggest pitches of the ball game tonight for Jared Weaver right here. And now 2 on.
And they lost him. Soft stuff early in the count and then hard stuff later against Overbay. And he ends up walking him. Just the second walk tonight by Weaver. One of the things, excuse me, Blackie, that the Jays have done, you were talking about it, hitting with runners in scoring position last night. They were 4 for 8. 3 of them coming in that 6th inning when they really opened the scoring up. Looking for the big hit tonight against Weaver. They just haven't found it.
This game is very similar to last night's game, only the opposite case. The Angels open up a big lead, as Roy Halladay got last night. And the Blue Jays come back like the Angels did last night. And now the bullpen starting to stir for Los Angeles. Kevin Millar. Fly out and a ground out here.
Looking for one pitch right here. You're ahead of the count. Something where you can score both of those runners.
And for the first time tonight, a look of concern from Jared Weaver. Two on, 2 away. 2-0.
Tough pitch. 2-0. You're looking for one on the inner half that you could yank and score 3 runs. And he paints the outside part of the plate.
Suddenly the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
A little slurvy slider right there that we talked about in the scouting report. Really crossing up Millar here. He's got a battle now.
Now another full count. Runners will get a head start with 2 away. Another big pitch right here. Millar, high fly ball. Matthews camps under it. Jared Weaver gets out of it. Sean Camp also done. Jesse Carlson coming in. Canada's fastest mobile network. Brought to you by high-speed internet, the fastest and most reliable, period. And the Blue Jays' all-time regular season record at Rogers Center. There it is, in 20 years. 1627, 1547. Bet you didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
It's
a lot of wins.
It's
a lot of games.
A lot of wins. And here we are tonight, 20th anniversary of this grand old place. Can't believe we're calling it old, 20 years, but time flies.
Nice job by Sean Camp. His 3 innings are over. Jesse Carlson takes over. It's been a week since Jesse's been in a ball game. He was used early and often, as you see that ball on the ground. But too much speed for Asturis, and he's going to beat it out for an infield single. Jesse was used early and often this year by Cito Gaston, and when they finally got to Baltimore last week, had that little bit of a meltdown. They said, okay, he's pitched a lot. He was leading the American League in appearances last week, so he has not pitched since then, and he still leads the American League in appearances this year with 26. That shows you how much they have used him. So this will be interesting to watch tonight to see how he is. Sometimes you just need to catch a break and get a blow and kind of get back out there.
Nicer Asturis. Gary Matthews Jr. Carlson delivers outside. Four-run lead for the Angels. You know that Mike Scioscia wants to add a few more here. Based on what we saw from Weaver in that last half inning, that bullpen might come into play here. Scioscia might be a little anxious around his bullpen right now.
Weaver still has good stuff. You know, if you watch that, he ran into a little bit of a problem there, the double and the walk, but he still has good stuff tonight. Problem that Jesse has had in his last few outings is he has not been able to throw strikes consistently, especially with his breaking ball. He's falling behind. He wasn't able to throw the ball where he wanted to. Consequently, he's been knocked around a little bit. Blue Jays felt he needed a little time off. That's a good sign there for out number 1.
There's Asturis. And Jeff Mathis returns for his 4th trip to the plate tonight. Eric Ibar on deck. And hits for the Angels. Just 3 hits for the Blue Jays off of Jared Weaver. Jason Frazier now warming up in the bullpen. Ball and a strike to Mathis. Red Sox are winning tonight, leading Detroit 5-0. Yankees are losing tonight, trailing Texas 4-1. Red Sox game in the 8th inning, Yankee game in the 6th inning.
We started talking about that road trip by Texas. They go to New York and then they go to Boston. They came into that road trip leading the American League West. And we'll see what type of team they are after this week. That's where the Blue Jays go starting next Monday.
Balls and 2 strikes. Blue Jays month full of non-divisional opponents.
It's been a crazy schedule, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
I mean, they have only played the American League East in 15 games. When we get to the end of this month, we'll start playing them again. But until then, just a couple of series against Baltimore and Yankees and Boston, and that's it. We haven't even seen Tampa yet.
Not till June 29th. Tampa Bay and the Blue Jays. Rolling. You don't see that happen often from the 7-time Gold Glove winner.
Well, you're absolutely right. It'll go as an error for Rowland, his 5th of the year. And I think what happened is Mike Scioscia started the runner over at first base. And Scott looked up just at the last second to see if maybe we can still turn this ball because it was hit so hard. There's Rowland in your screen. He looks up. The ball handcuffs him a little bit. And instead of getting one, it's first and second now with 1 out. Error number 5 on the year for Rowland. Jays have played errorless baseball on this homestand. They've caught the ball very well.
Now Eric Ibar with 1 away and 2 on. Angels trying to tack on a couple more runs here. Casey Janssen started the game. Only lasted 4 innings. Angels had a 5-0 lead. They were off and running again. Here's a guy who was here on opening night 20 years ago for the Blue Jays on June 5th, which was the opening night for the Blue Jays. This is the 20th anniversary of the gala, and Alfredo Griffin, as a matter of fact, was also part of the Blue Jays back then. And the Beast, Paul Beeston, of course, the architect. Part of the team with Pat Gillick. And this will score at least 1 more run. Vernon Wells makes a diving play out there, and it's now 6-1.
You know, you just can't lay down in the American League because there's so many good offensive teams. We've seen it already this year, all the comebacks from 7, 8, 9 runs down. So Mike Scioscia is still being very aggressive here in the 8th inning. Starting the runners, staying out of the double play, and Ibar cashes the 6th run of the night for the Angels.
Ibar 2 for 4 night, double, a single, RBI, and now the top of the order again. The most productive Angel tonight getting on base has been Sean Figgins. 3 for 4. Last night the Blue Jays won 6-4. Roy Halladay 14 strikeouts, and mirror image tonight for the Angels. Jared Weaver playing Doc tonight.
Baffling him. One of the problems that Jesse's having right now is he just can't get that ball where he wants to. His breaking ball doesn't have the bite on it that we saw earlier in the year. That last pitch, Rob Barajas wanted it in, and he just let go of it a little bit too early, and the ball kind of sailed on him. He's good when he's mixing speeds and throwing strikes and working quickly and getting that breaking ball where he wants to. He has allowed 12 earned runs over his last 10 2/3 innings coming into this one.
2 strikes now to the switch hitting Figgins. One away and runners at the corners. Way up high, sailed on him.
This is where they like to start that runner at first base. Stay out of the double play. You've got some speed at first. You've got some speed at the plate. You give Sean Figgins the option. If it's a strike, just go ahead and whack at it. If not, let it go.
Down he goes on strikes.
Good pitch there. They hold the runner, and it works out for Jesse Carlson and the Blue Jay. That's where you want to throw a good 2-strike pitch right there on the outside part of the plate.
Now Bobby Abreu got the party started for the Angels tonight. 2-run home run. Only his second of the season. That was back in the first inning. Since that time, he's grounded out 3 times. All to the right side of the infield. Slice the other way, and it's fair. Mathis will score. Ibar will also race home, but the ball went into the stands.
They're going to send him back to third.
Scioscia is saying, what are you talking about? The run will score.
That is, and Aceto's going to have something to say now as he comes out of the dugout. That's a judgment call on the umpire. That if he feels that that runner would have scored if the ball wasn't touched while it was in play, he has the right to say and award the run to the offensive team. Aceto's argument is, hey, that ball was touched while it was in play. It's a ground rule double. He's got to go back to third base. Angel Hernandez is saying, hey, I'm standing right here in line. I can watch the runner. I looked right down the third base line. I saw where the ball was. I saw where the runner was. And I think he was going to score. Good hustle right there by Eric Ibar, not taking anything for granted. Ball hit not very hard, kind of an inside-out swing by Bobby Abreu, just fair down the left field line, and here comes the fan right there to touch it. Now it's a dead ball. Look how close this ball came from going foul.
And the fan grabs it for a souvenir, but 3 runs across in this inning now. 2 on that double from Bobby Abreu. Productive night for him, 4 RBIs. Now Vladdy Guerrero, the DH here tonight. The Angels lead 8-1. Last night they whiffed 14 times, struck out 14 times, and Jared Weaver 10 strikeouts tonight. The Angels may have 12 hits, Pat Tabler, but the story has been Jared Weaver.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, he's been on his game from the first pitch up until now, just dominating, throwing the ball where he wants to, mixing in all of his pitches. And it looks like Mike Scioscia, because this inning has been so long, I think he's going to go to his bullpen.
What an outing for Weaver, a career high, 10 strikeouts. has only had 2 complete games this year. Won't go the distance it looks like here based on what we just saw. And for the Angels right now, it's all about getting the W. 500 before the night began, again chasing the Texas Rangers. Two-2 pitch to Guerrero. You see where he
right up the shoe tops,
like a little wedge, pitching wedge out to Alex Rios. But a 3-run eighth. Jared Weaver can stand and sit down and watch now. 10 strikeouts in his pocket. Night 10 strikeouts, a career high on 107 pitches.
Struck out the side in the first inning, just a couple of walks. Struck out the side again in the 6th inning. In between, just gave up 3 hits, 3 doubles. He'll turn it over to the bullpen now with an 8-1 lead, and this is Jason Bulger. We saw him in last night's game. Through an inning, and he's got what they call electric stuff. He's got a good fastball. Look at that, strikeouts, just about 1-to-1 innings pitched per strikeouts. Good hard fastball. He was the Angels reliever of the month in the month of May as that ball's popped up down the right field line and taken by the second baseman Isturas. The month of May, he got into 10 games. He was undefeated, 2-0 with an ERA under 1. Just gave up 1 earned run in 12 2/3 innings the whole month of May.
Isturas calling for it and calling Morales off. So top of the order now for the Blue Jays, down 7 here. Out hit tonight, 12-3. Unless some miracle is in the works here for the Blue Jays against what has been the worst bullpen in the American League. Blue Jays and Angels will square off for a rubber match tomorrow afternoon here.
You know, you mentioned it that the ERA is not where they have been accustomed to as that ball gets under the glove of Morales. The Angels, like the Blue Jays, really pinch the middle of the field. And on this replay, you'll see where Morales, Kendry Morales, the first baseman, is playing way off the line. This will go as a base hit as Scudero inside out's a fastball to the right side. And look at Morales in the hole between first and second, but it gets under his glove for Marco's first hit.
Aaron Hill 0 for 3. A lot of 0 for nights for the Blue Jays tonight.
Just to finish that point about the bullpen, everyone knows that Frankie Rodriguez took his act to New York and all the saves that he had. But I think the guy who really means a lot and meant a lot to that bullpen was Scott Shields. He was really the bridge that got him to Rodriguez. He's now out on the DL.
And a double play. 8 innings complete and almost the W in the books for the Angels, leading 8-1 as we head to the 9th at Rogers. To 1 to the 9th inning, and B.J. Ryan comes into the game to get some work here. Kendry Morales, Juan Rivera, Meister Asturis for the Angels, trying to get back to 1 game over 500. And Morales clobbers one to the gap, and Vernon Wells runs it down, and a beauty.
Vernon getting his sprints in here tonight. This is about the 4th time we've seen him have to go deep into the right field gap. This is just a beautiful play as he stretches out and takes away extra bases from Morales.
Juan Rivera. 3 fly ball outs tonight and a strikeout. B.J. Ryan, beginning of this season, was the closer for the Toronto Blue Jays, but injury and some velocity problems, no longer the case.
14th game that he has gotten into, the ERA bloated. You're right, it's been the ability to get ahead when Ryan's healthy and throwing well. It's strike 1, strike 2, and then finishing them off. Just 11 1/3 innings for BJ, 9 walks and 10 strikeouts. We last saw him against the Red Sox on the 31st when he threw 2/3 of an inning and finished off the 7th.
This time of year, you look to June as a big month for the Blue Jays, and often has been a critical month. Many times we've seen in Toronto a June swoon where the Blue Jays have fallen out of it. You would have thought that, based on their record and the fact they've been close, as Rivera goes down on strikes, that B.J. Ryan would be a big part of this. In fact, he has not been.
Well, he still might. Cito's going to pitch him in games like this. He's going to find him innings so he can work out his problems. That at bat by Rivera, at least the pitch sequence and where the pitches were, was a lot like Ryan that we saw last year.
Followed by a base hit by Meiser Asturis. Asturis' second single of the night. Gary Matthews Jr. is back to the plate. 8-1 Angels. $80-mile-an-hour slider from B.J. Ryan.
You know, when he's going well, he's carving the outside corner against those right-handed batters. Throwing that slider for strikes and getting it under the bat of those righties.
Scudero out number 3, and we head to the bottom of the ninth. Blue Jays down to 7. Alex Rios will lead it off when we come back.
Cast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership.
So on the 20th anniversary of opening night of what was Skydome, the Blue Jays have been witness to a party pooper named Jared Weaver tonight. Blue Jays anniversary, 20 years, is actually on Friday when the Kansas City Royals come to town. Of course, they have the rubber match tomorrow against these Angels. Should the Angels hang on to what is a very healthy lead. Jose Arredondo into the game now.
Yeah, great numbers last year for Arredondo. Just off the chart numbers, but so far this year he has battled control problems. So far he is not the pitcher that we saw last year from Arredondo when he got into 52 games, a 10-2 record, winning 10 games out of the bullpen last year. An ERA under 2 and a bunch of strikeouts, 55 of them in the 61 innings that he pitched last year. This is a team, the Angels, when leading after 8 innings last year, were 86-4. Lots of good arms at the back end of that bullpen last year. It just hasn't worked out so far this year.
Blue Jays did have a chance back in the 7th inning. But even in the fifth, to add to that one run and make it a little closer might have made this game a little more interesting here in the ninth. Weaver shut the door, slammed it shut. And then the 3 runs, the insurance runs in the eighth, all unearned. Rios fouls it off after the error by Scott Rowland. That's where we're at, 8-1. John Lackey tomorrow, Brian Talent tomorrow. Down goes Rios on strikes.
There's that nasty stuff that we saw from Arredondo last year. A good hard slider. Comes right over the top with everything. But the strikeout pitch that he has is a good splitter. That's not it. That's his breaking ball. You combine those 2 hard pitches, the splitter and the slider, and you can see why he gets lots of strikeouts.
Gordon Wells, an 0-4 night, joining the club of other Blue Jays here. Two away now. Adam Lind, most productive Blue Jay. 2 doubles, a run scored. Only 4 Blue Jay hits. Jared Weaver, no-hit baseball until the top of the fifth, or bottom of the fifth, rather. When Lynn broke up that no-hitter. Adam Lynn continues to stroke it well. 3 hits, 3 for 4 night.
When they pitch him in, he pulls the ball into the corner for a double. When they stay away from him, he hits it the other way. That's why it's so hard to defense players like that. You just don't know where the ball is going to end up. Good night for Lynn.
Scott Rowland, 0 for 3, strikeout, ground out, and a pop out. The second baseman. So last night it was Roy Halladay's night. Tonight, Jared Weaver's night. Who will be the pitcher of the day tomorrow afternoon? Maybe it'll be a pitcher's duel. And this should do her. Los Angeles Angels bounce back after striking out 14 times last night. Jared Weaver puts on a show.
Well, the offense kind of chipped in also. 13 hits and 8 runs for the Angels. Sean Figgins got it started.